Yeah, Facebook. So I know Facebook really well because that's what I do. I
Yep.
have been for a while. And it works. I think it works better because it's not a business site, and if you do well, like you're not spammy like everyone seems on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Like the breakdown you follow, like whether it be 60/40 or 80/20, that makes sense because you can't be all spam and still get engagement if it's all spam. Like you see those sales posts all the time and it has one like, and it's probably the same guy liking it. And the exact
Yeah.
same thing goes on LinkedIn. I would say the reason I like Facebook more than LinkedIn primarily, other than the social aspect of it and not the business aspect. On Facebook, you have a feed that doesn't disappear. And what I mean by that is when you go to Adam Neese's Facebook page, you can see all your posts there and kind of like get to know the person a little bit. If you go to LinkedIn, you just see a profile and a couple posts in a list, but no one reads those. I know I don't. And if I'm a marketer trying to do research and I don't do it, then 99% of people don't do it. What I do like about LinkedIn more than Facebook is when you're commenting under your name, it has your bio line like 0% credit card processing guy
Mm,
or whatever it is, right? So every comment
yep.
you leave is a billboard for whatever you have in that line. Where Facebook doesn't have that, I wish they would add it because I would leave every other platform. But
Dude, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, wow, spoken like a true marketer right there, dude.
yep,
I agree with you. I don't like LinkedIn because every time I'm on there, I got another automated message from
spam.
somebody that's yeah, and I just don't respond and I block people, whatever. Because I actually think that the stuff that we can talk about here, and if you want to just roll with this, that's fine. If you want to
Yeah.
chop, what do you want to do? You want to like officially start it or just kind of
Oh, it's been recording the whole time, so I'll clip it up. Like we've
okay,
started talking about it for a little bit now, but
yeah. Yeah, so I think that the this stuff that we'll go over today is the most powerful way to generate opportunities, especially as we become more digitized as a technology.
yes,
Uh, yeah, door knocking works, networking, chambers of commerce, all that stuff. But like social media is designed to make money, and it mimics reality and speeds things up. It's really cool. So like I think personally, LinkedIn is, I sometimes what I do. Here's the extent of the effort that I put in on LinkedIn. I copy if I have a good early post, like early morning post on Facebook. I will copy that and literally just word for word put it on LinkedIn. Sometimes I curate things and like make it more LinkedIn type.
yep,
I don't like LinkedIn because of the spam, because there's everyone on there is trying to do business. So if I'm on there trying to do business, it's kind of like being a big fish in a big pond versus
yeah.
like Facebook. It's the opposite. You can be a big fish in a small pond, and
Your pond would be
yeah,
a good
sure.
way to describe it.
Yeah, because it's more, I think the algorithm is more like user centric, where you don't have to be friends with somebody to see the content. Same thing for LinkedIn. But like if I am near somebody, or if they were they are interested in something that I'm talking about, you're going to see that post, even if somebody doesn't engage with it.
Mm-hmm.
Proximity, like I've noticed that, um, people that I'm not friends with or they don't even follow me, they see a post because it's engaging enough that the algorithm rewards me by showing it to people that shouldn't, but they do because like the algorithm knows they want to see it.
Yep.
It's funny because a lot of those are Chipotle posts. Yeah, because like everybody likes Chipotle. Most
And
people,
everybody in our industry knows, okay, Adam's the Chipotle guy.
yeah, it's kind of cool. But like so do consumers, man. Like it's funny because our business is so easy to promote because everyone uses a credit card. And
Yep.
when you post organically and you're talking about what you do, um, dude, it's so easy to put kind of like, hey, you know how you use your credit card at the grocery store to pay? My company helps the business with that functionality or that feature. People are like, oh, and then I'm sure you get the messages or the calls like, dude, I was just at the deli and their internet's down. They can't take credit cards. Like that's a hot lead for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that can be fixed, but it's also a time to shine if you're local to a business and you pop in there like, hey man, Johnny just told me that your internet's down or your credit card machine's not working. You're not my client yet, but I'm happy to help you. And that's the kind of stuff that wins deals. And it all
Yeah,
became
and I'll never say because there are people that hate doing anything online. They're like door knocking is king, and that's all they'll ever say. And I like door knocking, But door knocking or cold calling, referrals, that stuff, you can't become famous. And what I mean by famous is building that center of influence online, like you've done. You can build that influence to a point where people just they see your stuff and then they sign up. No doors need to be knocked, no calls need to be made, and that based on how good you are, that could be 10 a week, that could be 100 a week. If you're someone like if Gary Vaynerchuk started a payment processing company, how quickly do you think he'd be the biggest company? Right.
Oh man, he would have 1,000 mids by the end of the year.
Let's hope he never has that thought, but and all these influencers don't move into the industry. But
Yeah,
if someone can build that influence, and that's a big reason I bought the Facebook groups in the last little bit, is to build that influence in my area so that I can control the conversation and become like the digital mayor of that city's business group, like a chamber of commerce style. But social media is the only way to build that influence unless you're already famous, which nobody in our industry really is. Maybe a Square, but
yeah, like I agree. You know, like payment processing is an invisible industry for the most part.
yeah,
Like I didn't hear about it until like 2 weeks before I started working in it.
yeah, it's not sexy. Can't
Yeah,
promote
it's
it.
not. But there's a ton of money in it, and you know, the opportunity is huge. Like I refer to it as the digital gold rush.
Yeah,
Right now, there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of business owners that are making the binary decision to switch to a program where they don't pay the fees or they eliminate a significant amount. And really, it comes down to three things: technology, the service model, and then like, are you eliminating their fees? Great. And then it comes down, and then if they don't want to do that and they just want to do traditional for now, okay, cool. Transparent, fully disclosed pricing, consistent. That's what will win over the long game. And like I've been in this industry for almost 9 years now, and I'm so grateful that I learned how to leverage social media, because I couldn't imagine like door knocking. I did it back in the day. So I started on Valentine's Day in 2014.
yep,
Got into the career, and I sold for Heartland for like a little over 5 years, 62 months, right? And I stopped door knocking like in 2000, end of like 2017. I got 2 referrals in one day from like existing clients, and I'm like, okay, sweet, like I'm finally getting traction. And I realized that I could generate more leads by just taking really good care of my clients. Let's see, I was 3 years in, so I probably had like 100, anywhere from like 120 to 150 maybe by then. And I always say that you will receive about, if you like 1% of your portfolio will refer you every week. So if you have 100 mids, you're going to get 1 referral a week, right? Give or
okay,
take. Now, there's a lot of factors to that. It's just like a number that they say like 65% of stats are all made up on the spot.
sure,
So there you go. And obviously that's the secret, but how do you get those first clients? Well, you door knock, you go to BNI, chambers of commerce, you can run ads, there's like many ways to do it. And especially with COVID and just people being addicted to their phones, social media is hands down the best way to do it. I mean, you can't knock on doors while you're laying in bed or taking a crap, you know, and
yep,
I digitally knock on doors when I do those things, just like you talk about, right? It's so easy to do. And really what you want to do, just like in real life, when you take really good care of your clients and you service them and the business comes to you, that's where you want to be. That's like being in a position of power, because you yourself are the funnel, right? And
yeah.
instead of,
And
go
with
ahead.
door knocking, the intent is different. You're walking into their business. They automatically think, okay, sales guy, I'm going to have to put up these walls now, and he's going to have to break them down, and then we'll get into it. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. You just go to the next door. With online, you're catching somebody at 7 p.m. after eating dinner, and they're just turning on Netflix, and they're looking for a reason to ignore their wife because they're in a fight right now. So they message you, and or whatever the case may be, you catch them in a more emotional state. So if you can like take advantage of that, they're not their first thought is not, let me say no to this guy because he's selling me something right now. But if you just message, hey, I seen your Corvette on your wall, what year is that? You start a conversation, you're still you have the intent to sell, but you're being smart about it. You're making chess moves on the chessboard. Whereas door knocking, like you're right to, okay, how do I knock down the king, so to speak?
Yep. Yeah, and like think about everyone in America and Canada too, any small business owner, everyone's proud of their business, so they immediately put up boundaries around it, right? There's really minimal boundaries online, and if
Yep.
you if you own a Facebook group, I was texting an agent in the industry today. He just bought a Facebook group um, for $400. And there's like 2,500 merchants.
Max Bogner.
No, it's somebody else. And so that's like that for $400, you know, that's like an hour worth of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it. And he's got a barrel to fish in or shoot the fish in, whatever you want to call it. And he controls the conversation flow. So that's kind of like what we want to do. But I'll tell you this, even if you DM somebody and you're the one reaching out to them, it's the same concept as calling them on the phone or stopping in. It is way less invasive. But like the secret in both offline and online is to get the business to come to you, right? How do you do that? Well, you have to make yourself known, right? There's a bunch of ways to do that. And the thing that's worked best for me is posting every day on my personal page. I've talked about this. People ask me about it. I learned it in a mastermind group that I'm in, Apex, and I constantly focus on that because that's it. It's seriously so powerful. Next time, not get results right away. I'm almost 4 years in. 2019 in January is when I started. It's October 20th, 2022. And there's days where I wake up and I don't have shit to say. I got nothing on, I'm tired, hungover, got nothing good to say. And there's always good content that you can find everywhere. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was it's called E3M3, right? I learned this from Apex, the same thing. M3 stands for media marketing method. And then E3 stands for share an experience, educate the audience, and extract a lesson, right? You typically don't have to do it in that order, but like if you go on, can I share my screen? Do you mind?
Yep. Yeah, I gave you access to share your screen.
All right. So let me find something. Some of these posts are not E3. Like this is not an E3. It's just a quick that I posted. I thought of it randomly the other night and people liked it. Cool. So that means what did it do? It showed my name to a bunch of people. There's a lot of people that associate my name with credit card processing and Chipotle, which the two are interchangeable.
Yeah, one is not better than the other.
No, that's true. Oh, dude, let me find like a good E3M3 post. You guys could share an experience. It could be like an everyday experience, something simple like, you walked across the street walked an old lady across the street and you had a lesson that you learned. Hang on. So
I think the obstacle, because I get this and I know the people that are going to be watching this get this, I think their objection is going to be not that they don't have these lessons to teach or they can't think of them maybe. It's that they haven't practiced putting it into copywriting. So they're not good at typing it out and making people want to read that copywriting. But the only thing there is what you go back to is like you've done it for 4 years.
Yep.
If we go back and look at post 1 through 10, they're garbage compared to like this year's post, I would assume, in terms of copywriting style and how it's written. Becomes with practice.
I see. You know how Facebook shows you memories and stuff?
Yeah.
I see posts from like even a year ago. I'm like, man, I sucked at writing. And I'm sure that I'll think the same way now. But I love it. I actually learned to love it. Back in the day when I knew like one of the challenges in Apex is to post every day from your Facebook page. And I wrote some like long post about the law of attraction. And it was like terrible. It didn't follow this method. It was like this long thing, hard to read. And really, if you think about it, it's simple. Like all the stuff that we do, like on social media, there's a science behind it. And you can really simplify it. So like, here's a good E3M3. I posted this. I have found, I'm going to give some game here. So when you make a post, you want it to be easy to read, engaging. You want people to click the see more button because the first 3 or 4 lines of the post is exciting. When you put a time word or yesterday or last week or last month, last year, and or $sign in the first line, it gets people to stop scrolling. Why? Because everybody relates to time and money. Okay.
Yep.
So like, here's the situation. We had a client get activated, and like one of our tech support people, the merchant was having issues, and they ended up re-provisioning it before they batched. So we lost all the transactions, right? It's a concession stand. We lost 806. Well, they lost $806. So found out about it, and I wrote a check to the nonprofit, or the what is that? Whatever, the group that runs the concession stand, right?
Sure.
So I told the story about how I delivered the check. Like, I got in my truck and drove it to the people, right? Long story short, we screwed up. I explained the story. So I'm sharing an experience here, right? And this is where I am extracting the lesson, right? And then educating, right? We're all human. We make mistakes. Grateful for the lesson. Thank you for staying, right? That's a story where, like, I'm not saying anything about like, oh, I do payment processing. Send me a DM and I'll
Here's
get you.
my link.
Yeah, that's spammy. That's like the guy showing up in your business with a business card and saying, hey, I'd like to meet with you to talk about your processing. Like, obviously we do that and that gets business, but you know, this post got 67 likes, 19 comments, 2 shares. So that, I would say that usually it's like a 1 to 10 ratio of people that engage to seeing it, right? So that means, like, say, let's just say 600 people saw the post, right? I got 3,200 friends and like 2,000 or 1,500 followers, but like, they're not seeing every post. Some people would never want to see this on their feed because it's like, they don't care. It doesn't interest them, right? And that's why I post every day, and I try to do something like with like family and finances and business and deep thoughts and inspiration, because there's like different people that will see my posts if it's something that they like. And if they like it or comment or anything, they will see the following post, if not 2 or 3 after, because they are telling the algorithm that they like Adam Niec's content.
And Facebook wants to keep people on the platform, so they're naturally going to show people what people want to keep them on the platform. Same as TikTok, Instagram, any other social media. Can I guess why you capitalized payment processing? Is that just to stop the reader on those words?
That, and also just to further emphasize it, plus the algorithm puts more weight on it. So this is unproven, but if people see that and they stop scrolling in the post, they are more likely to see another post that has the same wording in it, and they will think of my name and they will tag me in it. Hey, like, because people go on Facebook and they complain, Square just froze my money. What do I do?
Yeah, you're tagged everywhere in the sales group with Ryan.
Yeah, in other groups too, man. It's like, I'm not going to do it, but I've been thinking about like outsourcing my social media and just creating a process for everything. Because I spend 2-3 hours a day just like responding to DMs and things like that. But here's the cool thing. It's worth it, because if somebody tags me on a post and I send a quick message, get a DM and qualify the opportunity and then send it to one of my team members, we get that deal closed. That's worth it. You know,
I might have a solution for you on that point. Like
a chatbot?
No. I wouldn't say chatbot for that. But I would, rather than having an individual conversation with every one of those, like, hey, call Adam Niec in a group, and then you get into a conversation and you're doing that for 2-3 hours a day. Every week on Monday morning or Friday afternoon or whatever, you're running a webinar for all of these people for that week. And then you put 30 people in a webinar, because what's going to happen is the people that are naturally going to switch to you will get the other people in the webinar on board just from Jones effect.
Yeah, right. That's a good idea, dude. I'm gonna.
And then you spend half an hour a week with all these people, and the response to these people will be like, hey, listen, you can imagine I'm this busy. We do a webinar every Friday for 30 minutes where I tell you about the program, so that way you can get what you need and get out, and I don't take up too much of your time, because we could sit here talking all day back and forth on Messenger, and that's not good for anybody.
No, it's not. There's days where I just don't touch my DMs for like 2 days. Like,
I'm the same way.
I'll get to that on Saturday.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, like, it's all good. But like, so in this post, let me just go back to it. People shared it. You had comments, which is great. And what I'm doing, man, is I'm telling a story. This has probably happened to other people in our industry where you make a mistake and you write the check because you own it, right? That's what we should do. And so I'm in this post, I want to attract 3 different types of people, right? Merchants, referral partners, and then agents, right? We're recruiting, we're actively building our team. So people in our business, it's one of the biggest problems is trust and accountability, right? So I want people to know, hey, we screwed up and we owned it. Yeah, I write the check because that's our mistake. They shouldn't lose that money because
Yeah.
we made a mistake in our process. So, and mind you, this might be, let's see, we'll call it 4 years. Let's say 600 posts a year, 2,400 posts coming up on, and it's probably a 30% ratio. So like I've got 600 to 700 posts out there, maybe, I don't know, just throwing a number out there of something payment processing related. So people see my name and they just affiliate with it because I've done it long enough, right? And you know, I want to, whenever I make a post, if I put a timestamp, a dollar, and then a dollar figure, and then payment processing in the first couple things of the post, people are going to, they're either going to click see more, or that's cool. If they just see my name and then money, whatever, and then payment processing, I'm fine with that. Because like there are people that engaged on this post and they did not read the whole thing because they
Probably,
just
yeah.
saw like, oh wow, 37 likes, only an hour in. Okay, cool. I like that too. And then they just keep scrolling. That what that does then is that shows that engagement will, it's called decay. So Facebook's algorithm decays at a rate of 1 minute. So if your post gets engagement every minute, it will show it to more people. If it slows down, it shows it to less people. So that's why, like, you see, typically if you have a good post or a great picture, something like that, the majority of the engagement will happen like in the first hour because people are on Facebook all the time, right? And then when they see it, it's done. And then the people that haven't seen it yet, because they only log into Facebook, you know, once a day, like at the end of the day, that post, if it did well, it will be at the top of their news feed, right? Or like one of the first few.
Yeah, and it's a way for Facebook to gauge the interest level on a
Yeah.
post is that first hour, because after they're just going to kill it so that they keep more people on the platform with better posts.
Yep. And like if the average person only spends a minute or two on the actual app because they pull their phone out when they're at Chipotle and they want to kill a couple minutes, well, you better show them the most engaging stuff so that they have a good experience or the things that matter to them, right? And it's usually based on engagement. And here's the cool thing. Anyone watching this, next time you log into Facebook, think about, be conscious of your level of engagement with the first few posts, especially the first one. Like I know this, it's funny because like I know this is a thing, and like pretty much 99% of the time, whatever I see at the top of my feed, I'm at least throwing it a heart, you know, or commenting too, because Facebook knows what I individually want. It's funny too because if you do it long enough and you have enough engagement and reach, Facebook will actually send notifications to people that
Yes.
you've posted. Like, there's a handful of people that will send me, they've already, you know, done it. Send me a screenshot, like, bro, Facebook tells me when you post. Like, whoa, that's interesting. So imagine like the power of that, because this front screen on someone's phone here, it's like the most valuable piece of real estate. And if it notification shows up, like, yo, Zach Stokes just shared a post on Facebook, Matt, that is powerful, right? You talk about controlling the conversation.
Yeah. And then for the people watching this that don't already have your level of influence on Facebook, the way to garner that would be a quick way to do it. If you're building out your friends list with, let's say, merchants that you're going after, the way to get them to see more content, if they're not seeing it already, because you're a new friend, they're not going to see that content already on your feed or a new post or anything like that. But you can go to their profile, or when they message in a group or anything like that, comment back and like their comment. Because what's going to happen is that algorithm is going to start showing your posts in their feed because, hey, this person conversates with this person. Let's keep the conversation going. And that's why they're pushing groups more than bad individual posts. Like I don't see any friends or family on my Facebook feed because Facebook is now, well, for personal, they tend not to like that stuff, but groups, it's where the community is happening, and Facebook wants to steal people from TikTok with their community aspect, because a lot of people are leaving, especially with advertising, to TikTok because it's so quick and no one has an attention span anymore, right? The way Facebook wants to keep that, they're trying to compete with reels and stuff, but the group is their, I would say, their advantage.
Yeah.
And that's why you see group posts a lot more than like personal profile posts nowadays, unless someone is big like yourself or Ryan Stewman or these people with influence on Facebook feeds. So commenting and liking someone's post off of the personal feed or in their own personal feed is going to start to move your content to the top of theirs. So you just got to, it's like a popularity contest at that point. But
Sure. And like, you ever notice the notifications that you get for groups? It's always like about our group or your group, right? Like, so people, let's think about what COVID did. It separated a lot of people, isolated people. So like that group community type thing, that's what keeps people together. It's interesting, like digitally, and we feel connected because of our groups. There are like so many people
yeah,
like you. I've never met you in person, but I feel like I know you very well because we engage and interact with groups. We do things like this, right?
I met one of the guys from the groups the other week. I took him out door knocking.
Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
it was weird. I'm like, hey, you're the guy from Facebook. But we set up an hour to go door knocking. You wanted to see my intro and short story. Like, I don't have a specific one. I just wing it most of the time. But I would
Yeah,
say
it's
building a Facebook group, even if it's like 100-person group in your area, like for someone watching this, is going to be the best use of your time, other than posting every day and consistently like that, but building that network that you control. It's like owning the TV station or like owning CNN or Fox. These people have a lot of power. You can do the same thing online. It just takes a little
yeah,
bit of
dude.
building. But I think the best use case of someone's time, and it's only like 10 minutes a post if you really think about it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
five,
longer if
ten
you're writing a
minutes.
good one. But
Mhm.
for the people watching this, set a reminder on your phone, 8 a.m. and like 3 p.m. if you want to do two or whatever time per day. And do not do anything until that post is written. So it's a discipline aspect at that point as well. It's all
Hey, let me show you
discipline.
something. It's funny because you were talking about how time equates to a better post. The one thing that I've realized is that it's a crapshoot. So where did I post this? So I made a post on, oh yeah, I made this on Saturday. It took me probably 20, 30 minutes to write it. It was a weekend, right? So I'm posting something about family and stuff
Yep.
like that. I usually talk family stuff like that on the weekend, funny stuff, at least stuff I think is funny. And then weekdays is when you can talk business and the algorithm's cool with it. And like, I made this post, da 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 da, and it did pretty terribly, like 17 likes, 18, 8 comments, and a share.
Think
The
just
day
too long to
before,
read.
yeah, that's why it was way too long. Like you just said, short attention span.
Mm.
And then it probably wasn't really well written because I was
That
just,
message to make that exact same message more engaging, could you tailor it to like a 2-minute selfie style video?
yeah, I could. You're right. That's a really good idea. Um, that would be sweet, actually. Then I would put that on my story.
Yeah.
Um,
Or a
segment
reel.
it. Yeah, something like that. So I've never done a reel. I should expand that a little bit. But
If you
then
just go to the top of your page, it's the same as stories, but they live on your profile.
word, okay, that's cool. I'll do that something like that the next couple days. But here's funny. Here's a funny thing. This was I impromptu. It took me probably 30 seconds to write this as I was home with my kids. My son was being a little kid.
Being a
And
kid.
so yeah, he throws his food everywhere. Look at this. And so it did pretty well. Like, look at there's a lot of likes and comments and shares. Like, so that means a lot of people saw that. And like, again, it has nothing to do with payment processing, but like I entertained people. What does that do? That makes them feel like, oh, I like that guy. He's cool. So like what we want is we want people to remember us when they think payment processing. Like, kind of like how you remember Kleenex when you think, oh, I need a tissue. Like
Yeah,
Kleenex,
it's
it's not called
subconscious.
Kleenex. Yeah, it's like a subconscious, like I can't remember what the word is, but you are associated with that
It
word,
it's
that
it's your prefrontal cortex. So the front part of your brain, basically. So when you say to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna buy the new Corvette 2023, all of a sudden you're gonna start seeing it on the highway when you're driving because your brain has filtered that information to the front, saying this is now important to me and my goals. I'm gonna see it everywhere. So same thing is happening here.
yeah, man. And so like the one thing that I've gathered from this whole thing, like you were just talking about groups, your personal page, like your personal profile, is essentially your virtual business card or your digital business card, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And so like you should have it be like, let me share my screen again here. My Facebook page I treat it as such, right? I got Rate Tracker as the cover photo. And my intro has something about payment processing, and picture of my wife and I keep it simple. Like I don't have like former relationship manager at Heartland and
Yeah,
former,
neither do I.
like you just, what do you do now? Okay, I'm the owner and CEO at Rate Tracker. I'm married to my wife. I got some followers and pictures, all that stuff. Yo, so like this is what people see when they click, when you make a post or something engaging in a Facebook group, or you comment, right? Because really comments is where it goes down. Like if somebody asks in a business owner group or in general, like any group, hey, like what do you recommend for a good payment processor?
Yep.
That's your time. That is your time to make a comment that responds to the post, so it's not invasive, right? You can, if they're having a problem, like in, let's just say like in Small Business Owners United, that's a Facebook group with like 90,000 businesses. Typically, it's
And
businesses.
100,000 credit card guys.
Yeah, right.
We're all in there.
Yeah, so imagine this though. That's like that is a target rich environment, right? It's the same concept as parking your car at a strip mall and walking up and down the street to hit all 15 businesses in a row so that you can be efficient with your time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody makes a post, help, Square is holding my money and I have 10 grand held up. What should I do, or who can recommend a good payment processor? So like what I always do, because people tag me on these and I also find them myself,
Yep.
more so the former, and that's a beautiful thing. They'll tag me. I say, hey, thank you for the tag, appreciate it. And then I'll say something like, hey, original poster. One of the secrets I've learned, even in the last year since we've talked, is always tag them in the comment, because sometimes, and I've seen it happen in person, Facebook will send a notification to that user on their phone and say, Adam Niec tagged you in a comment.
Yep.
Right? So that brings them to the app, right? Which Facebook loves that immediately, because you're bringing people to the app so they can show more ads, right? And they make money. And then also you're engaging that person, and like you're showing them, hey, first name, last name, or just first name, whatever. I own a payment processing company, or I sell for a payment processing company.
Yep.
We work with merchants like yours all the time. Square's holding your money because they're not sure about depositing it in your bank account. There's some sort of risk trigger or fraud trigger that is telling them to not fund that. Okay, cool. So what does that mean? Well, that means that person uses Square. They probably had a really great week and they were big sale.
Yep.
And you can help them. So when you make that comment, when you say something like, here's, address them, tell them what's going on, and let them know what they need. They need a direct merchant account that's fully underwritten, and you can help them with that. And then you say something like, I will send you a DM, right? When you do that, you're letting everybody know who you are, what you do, that you're a trusted expert, and that you take action. So a lot of business owners appreciate that. And really, you put that comment on that post, and it will work for you when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You might comment at 10 o'clock at night, wake up at 6 with 3 inbox leads because people are like, hey man, I saw you, like I had the same issue, but you got it fixed. I'm not really sure about it. Can you help me? Same thing.
And the difference is night and day when you comment yourself, because in the Small Business Owner United group, as an example, all of us, I don't do it anymore, but all of the credit card processing guys are saying, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I can do. When somebody tags Adam or tags somebody else and brings them into the group, oh, I didn't comment. I'm being brought in as an expert. You have more credibility. And there's a way to manipulate that too. So you don't need it because people tag you. But for the people watching this, what I've done in the past is create packs. So I have 2 or 3 guys in a group chat and they work for me. And when they see a thread that they can bring me into, they're the ones tagging me. But I'm paying these people to be my influencers.
So wow, that's pretty cool. So you're hacking it a little bit. That's pretty sweet.
Yep. Now, it wouldn't make sense for you, but your team might be able to use that. So you get Daniel, Joshua, all these guys in a group chat. Anytime Daniel sees a relevant post and he comments on it, he brings everyone in, says, yeah, Daniel's the best, and then vice versa.
Yeah. That's interesting. I want to find something in this. I'm trying to find it right now. And I'll see if it's available or whatever. It's a group. And there was okay, so let me show, this is exactly what I was referring to. Let me share it here. Sorry, I'm like spaced out a bit. So, some guy, this is Apex, right? Somebody, FOC stands for Family of Choice. This guy needs a payment code system. And these are people that are clients. They know, like, I don't really know who this guy is. I don't know, but he knows that I do payment processing, whatever. So he tags me, she tagged me. Same thing. So I do exactly what I needed to do. Tell him what I do, and then I explained like, hey, coaching and events are riskier because then whatever reason, hey, we have next day funding, we get time. So when I make that comment and send a DM, that's all I need to do. I get in the phone or get in the DM with that guy, figure out what he's got going on, and then if it's qualified, I send it to one of my people and they take care of it. And, and that comment generates leads. And really, like, it's really simple. And people are probably watching this like, dude, why? Like, this is like really basic, but that's exactly what it is. It's very basic what we do.
Simple, not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
because the hard part is the attention to detail, because the same person saying it's not easy is also, I don't know, walking to get Starbucks for an hour instead of doing something for 5 minutes that could be an ad for all day type thing.
Yeah. And like, if you stay consistent with your message, which I am, I'm talking about my family, I'm talking about my business.
Chipotle.
Yeah. And so like there's some science behind that, right? And it's really like you want that recognition that hey, when I think Chipotle, I think credit card processing. Right? Seriously.
You're gonna get a brand deal purely based off of name recognition with Chipotle. I don't know why they haven't offered you a bag yet.
So I got a story. So they do you remember when they had the E. coli breakout?
No. Now we don't have it the same way you guys have in the States. We have a couple in Toronto, but I wouldn't have seen it up here.
So this was probably back in like 2000 and I don't know, 16 or 17. And so what happened was they got E. coli in their lettuce, and like it totally screwed their I mean that's like that's for a food company, right? So I benefited from that because there was no line whatsoever, right? It was awesome.
Yep.
And so they did this. The way they responded was they took care of the PR and they fixed their supply chain issues, whatever. No more E. coli. And then they did a loyalty program that was like a 30-day rolling qualification period over 3 months. So if you went like, I think it was like 6 times in the first month, 7 times in the second, and 8 times in the third, you got different thing like a free burrito and guac or whatever on the second month. And then if you did it over the 90 days, you got like a free catering order worth like $100. So I went in 90 days. I went 76 times.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Because like I was out in the field selling, right?
Yeah.
And so I would drive 300-400 miles and a week, and it's so easy to go get a burrito, pay $7. It's healthier than fast food, and like it's a good amount of food. I'm a bigger guy, so I need to eat, and like I know where all the Chipotles are. So
yeah. Oh yeah, you got them on a Google map. You saved it.
Yep. And so. Yeah, and like, dude, what happened was I ordered the catering thing on like the last day, and the lady was like, "Oh, sorry, like you missed the deadline." I'm like, "It says midnight here." She's like, "Yeah, we're so backed up, like we're not gonna be able to process it by midnight." And I was like, "All right, like what's the email that I can send an email to so I can explain this?" So I send an email and I'm like, "Hey, I qualified. I went 76 times. Here's proof." And then I've also Snapchatted or snap storied and put a picture of one of your burritos on my social media probably like 1,500 or 2,000 times. It's like I used to do that. And they ended up giving me, they hooked me up. They gave me the free catering and apology letter, actually. But like
at least a response.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I got the catered thing. It was like $100 worth of food. But at the end of the day, like I do love Chipotle, but there's like a science behind that, and it actually generates leads because it creates an affiliation, if you will, or some sort of like mental connection with something like payment processing to Chipotle, right?
Yeah, we'll look back on this video in that excerpt 5 years from now when you just signed Chipotle in all their locations.
Oh yeah, they do it themselves, so
they have their own processing.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So I actually went after it, and some people that I
Well,
was
I guess
talking.
that's the trend. Like Wix, GoDaddy, all these companies are starting to take their processing. Smart move, sucks for us, but I understand why they're doing it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean they can have their own registration or their own manage it all and not have to pay processor markup. Really, I mean I'm sure they have that figured out, but it's not nothing that I would go after anymore. But
Yeah.
it would be my dream account, hands down. But what I'll say, kind of to close this up here, is the you mentioned this earlier, like the 80-20 or 60-40 rule. So what I'd like you to think about is social media kind of like as like TV or radio. If you listen to the TV or if you watch TV and listen to the radio and it was all commercials or mostly commercials, you wouldn't enjoy it, right? Or you'd get tired of a specific advertisement, right?
Yep.
If you have watched TV for a long period of time or you're watching a really good show or a game or the Super Bowl, like you will be okay with putting up with more commercials. So I say that if you want to give this a shot, and when I say this, I mean post from your personal Facebook page every day for a week. Just write out 7 different types of topics, conversations. Have 2 of your posts be about payment processing. And really, what you should do is tell stories like, of a success story or a time where you really solved a problem, whatever. And then the other 5 posts are like family, pictures of your kids. You could do a motivational post in the morning, whatever, something funny at lunchtime or something about food at lunchtime or any mealtime. And, make that post look, you should put spaces between each paragraph or sentence.
That's
And
such a huge thing. I see
dude,
like
it is.
paragraphs, I just scroll.
Yeah, it's because it's hard to read. It's not visually appealing, right?
Yep.
So, like I space it out like that because it makes it easy to flow and read, right? That's what we want. We want to occupy people's minds and get their engagement on our stuff, right? But when you do that, if you write, you need to write the stuff out when you start. You need to write 7 posts and have them pre-written and save them in your email or on a Google Doc, whatever. Just copy and paste, make some edits before you make the post because Facebook doesn't like copied and pasted posts. They want you to, because then that's like a robot thing, right?
Yep.
And just post them at a specific time every day. Usually the morning is good because they wake up and they scroll usually. If you're dealing with business owners and you want to attract business owners, like being a business owner is not easy. And so a lot of people wake up and they want some sort of inspiration. So that's why I like to post stuff that's like a deep thought or an inspiring thought in the morning because it motivates people. It gets them out of bed or like, not necessarily, but it makes them like have good graces or feel good towards me because, I said something that they needed to hear and it helped their mindset or whatever, right?
Sure. Positive
You do
post.
that for a week. If you do that for a week, you'll start to see results. You'll feel confident in it, and then you just got to keep going. Because if you do it every day, dude, like I'm telling you, 2 to 3 new opportunities a day hit my DMs, right? And they're
Yep.
usually pretty qualified. Yeah, you have your fraudulent moving companies and stuff that try to get accounts and people from India, but like it's also I talk about business owners that want to grow their business, people that love the American dream. Um, Chipotle isn't relevant there, but like, so the people come to me, they're qualified. And it's like, hey, bro, I'm opening up a new restaurant and I need a merchant account. Can you help me? That's like the dream because they
And that
know
friends
people.
list is curated as well. So someone
Yeah.
without the friends list, or if it's all like, let's say somebody has all payment processing guys as their friends, then you're going to need to curate that by adding people from business groups and stuff like that. So you can get a couple hundred business owners in your friends list to start seeing that
Yep.
content that's meant for them.
Or if you create engaging content in business owner groups, people will see your post
Yep.
and they'll like it and they'll follow you or they'll want to be your friend just because.
Yep.
And that's the secret is like then they see your profile, your digital business card, and they're like, oh, cool, I like this. And then they'll follow you. It might take a couple years before they even do anything because they're happy with their processor. But the second it's an issue and they resonate and remember your name when it comes to payment processing, you're the one that's going to get that DM, right? And it takes like 3 to 6 months to see any real traction. Some people see it in a couple of weeks, right? And maybe, we teach our team this, like we promote it. We talk about it heavily. Anyone can hit me up on the team and I'll help them write a post or whatever they need to do because it works, man. We're trying to help people sell more deals. So
yeah,
in closing, I think that, if you're burnt out with the way that you're doing prospecting now, because it burns you out. Knocking on doors every day, puts wear and tear in your car. It's expensive. Try social media because it works, it's powerful, and it compounds. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg wants for us. So,
At least supplement the door knocking with it.
yeah. Oh, of course. You need more than one channel because if
Yeah.
Facebook shut down, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Right?
If Facebook did shut down tomorrow, where is your choice to go with whatever
Probably
you do,
TikTok.
like you're commenting and stuff?
TikTok or I say I don't like it, but LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, TikTok or LinkedIn
YouTube Shorts.
or yeah, maybe, I don't know, yeah, TikTok. Yeah, YouTube. That's a good idea.
Well, I say YouTube Shorts because YouTube got blindsided by TikTok with the short form video. And now if you notice, when you open up your YouTube app on your phone, it defaults to the Shorts tab. I don't know if you've realized that.
I'm looking it up right now. So if you go to YouTube.
Yeah, like the app.
Oh yeah, I see that. Wow, dude. None of us have attention span.
I think they're gonna kill TikTok. They won't kill it, but they're gonna take a lot of people from it. The reason why is because you get a 1 million view video on TikTok, you make like $13. But YouTube is dropping partner revenue, meaning advertising on their shorts. You're now getting a cut as a creator. So they're just gonna steal a bunch of eyeballs from TikTok. With the same short form content. But because YouTube is owned by Google and they're the search engine king and all that stuff, it is going to play into SEO. So when someone types in Cleveland credit card processing and you have a YouTube short about credit card processing in Cleveland, that will show up in search results. Whereas on TikTok, you can't do that because they don't have SEO, but YouTube is owned by Google. So they have the SEO advantage, which then comes into play with us building a brand long term for that click stuff.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. That makes a lot of sense too. Like if you look at on a macro level, like where we're heading as a society, like dude, zero attention span, instant gratification. That makes perfect sense,
Yep. So I would just record whatever you guys do in the office and use that as video content. You might even use it as recruiting more so than merchant stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because the same people that are watching a video from Gary Vaynerchuk, if their location is near you, they're going to be shown your video about the office at Rate Tracker. Like, hey, this guy just hit $10,000 this week in new revenue. Let's clap it up for him. And you guys do a sales meeting and you're recording it. That sort of stuff, I think, will be very good for the payments guys and girls.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, right, and girls. Mostly guys, though, right?
When I say guys, I mean guys and girls.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, this was awesome, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm assuming that I'll clip the first half of this because we just got into it like halfway through, and then I'll post it probably tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good, man. I'm a couple minutes late for a 4 o'clock that I had scheduled, so
we'll get going.
Yeah, dude.
All right, take it easy.
All right, bro. See you later.
Bye.